Good breeze. Broke off at the 4.5. I went 5/8. So I had him a minute and 4 out, 14 and 2.
Yep.
Put away his workmate galloping out, and positive effort. He's handled the dirt very well since we've moved him down here from Turfway. It's 3 works over this track now.
When do you start thinking Derby with him? Was that a wow move he made in that last race?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. That's when, that win at the finish line is when you started turning your attention toward the Kentucky Derby. And Juddmonte's, they're always very realistic with their horses and like to put them in the right spots. And we talked about it and thought we'd bring him here to Churchill, let him train on the dirt. If he handled it well, we would, pursue the Derby. And like I said, I mean, 3 solid moves. I mean, he's really moving well over it. Rider's happy with him. I'm happy with him. His energy level's really good, and we're in a good spot with him.
Some horses coming out of Turfway have, come there and run well on the Churchill dirt in past years. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that with other horses? And do you see
Idiomatic.
That with them?
Idiomatic's one. So, yeah, no, we've been able to have horses last year. Encino, he won the John Patagli, and he went on to win the Lexington. I thought he had probably one of the best works last year, Derby week leading up. But obviously had a setback. But he's a horse that obviously transferred over to the dirt. So horses can definitely, come off the Turfway surface and perform well here at Churchill.
If you look at some of the Derby winners, grass form is not necessarily a detriment when you think of Barbaro, right. Animal Kingdom, right. Big Brown.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of the Derby has to do with horses being able to handle the 1.25 miles. And, Final Gambit, he's out of a Tappan mare. We actually trained the mare for Juddmonte. She was a grass horse. She was fast. She was by Tappan. She almost broke the track record at Ellis, a mile on the turf, I think, when she broke her maiden. So, he definitely has the stamina. I don't think the 1.25 miles is going to be an issue. It's just about getting the setup and getting a good trip.
What about Tappan Street? Is Tappan Street? Is that
Tappan?
It is Tappan.
Yeah.
Okay. What about him? And
he breezed yesterday. Very, very good. Broke off a little slow the first 8th, but picked it up throughout. He's on it. He's ready to roll. We were going to bring him here after the Florida Derby. We had all the wet weather. We thought it was a good move just to keep him right there in place. He's going to ship tonight or today. He'll be here tomorrow morning from Payson Park, and just super pleased with what he's done. We loved him going into the Florida Derby. He was touting himself. He was going to run a big race. He did, and he's done as well leading up to this as he was the Florida Derby. So once again, you have to get a good trip. The one thing he does have going for him, he's a very good gate horse. He really comes out of the gate well, and I think that's critical in the Kentucky Derby. Not necessarily break and be on the lead, but he's able to break and put himself where he needs to be. And then obviously, Louis rode him in all 3 starts. He's done a great job on him.
You've had a busy 2-3 days here with Tappan Street down there and this guy working here. Are you going to be glad when you kind of consolidate and you don't have to be getting on a plane? And
yeah, for sure. The last 2 weeks with traveling to Florida on Thursday and back on Friday is a lot, but it's worth it. We're just trying to give each horse the best opportunity to succeed. And I felt like so far we've put both Colts and Good Cheer obviously in the Oaks in position to run big races. She's doing fantastic. She breezed yesterday.
That's what I was just going to ask, was how she came out
I'm
of
sorry,
the work.
she breezed on Thursday.
Right.
Yeah.
How she came out of the work and how she's continuing to do.
Very well. I mean, she's very steady, easy to be around, and always listens to her rider, and she's 6 for 6. She's perfect to this point, and hopefully we can continue that.
You've talked before about how, being undefeated is a pressure that the people might feel and the horses don't know they're undefeated. But how do you guys keep the horse from picking up on anything the humans are feeling?
Well, I wouldn't say I get nervous just right before the race. So hopefully she doesn't sense that when I'm standing in the grandstand watching her on television. But yeah, there's a little bit of added pressure, I think, when they're undefeated and, they keep showing up every time. You just hope everything goes right for her. But she's really doing well, and she's put us in a great position, put herself in a great position, and I'm excited about giving her an opportunity at a Grade 1 because I feel like she's that type.
She's done nothing wrong on her, but she's getting better too.
I think so. Yeah, our breeze here was really, really good on Thursday. She just cruised around there and big gallop out, and the rider once again had great feedback, and she handles the track well. She obviously was 3 for 3 on it here last year, so she's it's kind of home for her. And she's performed really well here late summer and then into the fall. So, excited about giving her a shot at a grade 1.
Does she have any vulnerabilities that you're worried about?
I mean, look, she's performed on a fast track and off track, so she's pretty she's pretty solid. I guess if maybe the track was super fast and there was a loose leader or something, but those are things that I can't control and she can't control. So she's good, and I think she can overcome a lot.
Do you have their final drills mapped out coming in?
Yeah, I think right now we're looking at Good Cheer next Friday and the 2 colts, Tappan Street and Final Gambit next Saturday. It's all weather dependent. Yeah.
For sure, we've got some rain forecasted.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
How do you see the Derby overall?
I don't know if you can think about it too much, just the way it's been run. We've been a part of the last 4, and sometime, we obviously, the first one we were a part of with the Central Quality of Mandaloun, I thought it was a formful race. I thought it was a good run race. But sometimes I watch it and I scratch my head and I don't know what to think. It's obviously 20 horses. It's a race like no other here in America. We always question if there's going to be pace. I mean, there's always pace, or it always seems to be pace. And I think it's a trip race. I mean, oftentimes you look at the winner and say, wow, that horse got a great trip. 2 years ago with Sonny Leone, he rode that horse fantastic. Brian rode that horse last year, amazing. Best horse doesn't win this race. You got to get the trip. The horse with the best trip wins the race.
And good horses that have bad trips are usually compromised?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. The Essential Quality was very wide around both turns. He was kind of leaning. It was first day he decided to lean out in his entire career. Louis came back and said, I have no clue, but he was leaning out. He got to be the length. If he runs straight, he wins the race. It's part of it. It's a race like no other, 150,000 people. Horses, it's a little different for them as well. So you got to have a horse that mentally can take a lot, break well, get a good trip, and hopefully it works out.
Tappan Street's been one that's one of the lightest race colts you've ever brought to this race. You've never exclusively campaigned at Gulfstream Park and down at Payson. How has that changed things as far as the preparation's been concerned?
Mentally, he's pretty good. I like him. I think I know he's got a great mind, so I think he'll be able to adjust. And he was here last summer, so it's not as if he's never been to Churchill. Did the bulk of his work. We actually entered him at Ellis last year. He was in a race. We had to scratch him. He had a setback. We adjusted. We gave him the time, and he showed up, and he's been as good this year as he was last year.
A horse with plenty to give for the end goal.
Yeah, he's a nice colt.
We don't even talk about unraced 2-year-olds anymore. So, of all the so-called Derby rules, is there anything that you think still holds up?
Yeah, no. I mean, just with back to Final Gambit, horses that are running well up at Turfway seem to they can transfer that form here. No, I don't think there's any certain recipe or anything that you have to do this in order to win the Derby. What you have to do is get a good trip, and we just don't know where that's going to come from. And you got to be one of the 20. Bottom line.
Does Baffert being back, does that change anything back here? Is there anything different? A buzz about the race?
I don't think so. I'm glad he's back. I think if he's allowed to run at some tracks, should be allowed to run at all. But whatever, doesn't really matter. Doesn't matter what I think. But he's he's obviously a major player in the race for the last 30 years, and it's good to have him in the race. I think he obviously adds pace to the race but there's always pace in the race. I think the years he wasn't in it, we thought, oh, let's take Baffert's position. We had verifying a few years ago, and we sent him out of there. It didn't work out very well, but it's good to have him in the race, and he's got a lot of talented colts that it's good to have him be a part of the race.